Hello guys, and welcome to my Choose Your Grind Spot guide series. Today we're going to be talking about Centaurus Herd. Centaurus is considered by many to be one of the best grind locations for newer players just because of the silver per hour you can make here. Many people will tell you it's the best location you can grind for any class on season, and that is simply incorrect. Depending on what you're looking for and the class you're playing, this may not be the grind zone for you, so make sure you weigh the pros and cons of what you're looking for in your grind zone before choosing to grind here. Firstly, in order to grind this zone efficiently, you're going to need to have at least Tet Tuvala, although most players are going to have full Pen Tuvala on seasonal before they start grinding. You will want to be a minimum of level 60 before you start grinding here, just because the spot is very poor at giving EXP. The most limiting factor for a lot of players at this spot is going to be the AoE and the mobility of your class, AoE being area of effect. If your class struggles with either of these, it may not be the most effective grind zone for you. For example, both specs of Ranger, Sorceress, Succession Sage, and Awakening Caster simply do not have the AoE and or the mobility to grind here very well at all. However, classes like Succession Berserker, Awakening Musa, Succession Megu, Suck Warrior, and Awakening Nova grind very well here. This is absolutely an Agris zone, as are most all Valencia grind zone. If you are grinding without Agris in this zone, you can expect a drop off of about 200 to 250 million silver per hour on average. These spots are able to be done with just a blue level 1 loot scroll, but if you have extra loot scrolls available, you can run level 2 or the gold loot scroll as we call it for an extra 100 to 150 million silver per hour on average. The bad news about this spot is that it's very little combat and skill EXP. As I said before, most players are going to want to grind here once you are already level 62 on your seasonal character. Technically, you could start to grind here around level 61, but level 62 is when every class gets a special attack damage passive you're going to need at higher level grind spots as you progress through the game. Now let's talk setup. As for artifacts, most players are going to run monster damage artifacts just because they're quite common for newer players at this stage of the game. However, if your class struggles with stamina usage, you can definitely consider stamina artifacts if you have that set. When it comes to Lightstone combinations, you really aren't focused on damage so much because you typically one-shot each pack, so I recommend just running Combat EXP Lightstones, even though this spot isn't really great for Combat EXP. You can run a drop rate Lightstone combination and different higher grade Lightstones, but I wouldn't recommend optimizing your Lightstones too much for this spot. For a crystal setup, I recommend a budget setup like the one I have on screen here, since you likely are not an in-game player and don't want to invest too much silver in your crystals at this stage of the game. You can choose to prioritize EXP crystals the game gives you early on and start swapping more of these out as you get more silver. As for buffs in this grind zone, you're going to do well with a simple Cron Meal, a Beast Route, and a Destruction Spirit Stone for that attack cast speed. On screen here, you can see the main rotation so you can navigate to them in game. As for the exact rotation you will be running, it will depend on how fast you're grinding. Simply cut out a nice circle of packs you are able to clear efficiently and be on your way. As for drops here, primarily you are making your money from the trash loot and the coffer stones. However, quite a few sealed magical black stones drop here, and if the price is up on these, you will see a slight increase in how much you're making. The Centaur belt drops here as well, and you can expect that about once every hour depending on the drop rate you have engaged in your RNG. Some of these Centaur belts will come from soiled Centaur belts, which you can use by right-clicking it in your inventory, and it will give you a real Centaur belt or a broken one based on a set probability. The chance of pulling a real belt from one of these soiled belts is about 5%. Yona fragments are used for crafting your pen Jatina accessory that you keep doing dailies for every single day, so make sure you have enough Yona fragments to do your Jatina pen, and then beyond that they can help you craft further Kaposha accessories or various accessories like the Crescent Ring, the Ogre Ring, and the Basilisk Belt. Marnie's research box just gives you special knowledge of Marnie's research box for this particular grind zone, and when the Marnie stone fills up, you get a rolly box that gives you one accessory. It's not that great, but it is what it is. Artifacts will drop here, and you can simple alchemy those and sell the purified light stones they produce. Spectre's energies also drop here, and you can use those to create Black Star armor, which you can sell to the market, or you can just vendor it. Most people choose to vendor this item. Just understand, you never want to wear Black Star armor for any reason unless you want to get made fun of by your friends. On the screen here, you can see what to do with each of the rest of the items that you may encounter here at Centaur's Herd. As for the total silver per hour you can expect at Centaur's, it'll come down to a number of factors, including efficiency, class proficiency, and how much drop rate you have. However, most classes can expect around 650 million an hour with a blue loot scroll and Agris on 200% drop rate. If your class struggles here, you will end up below that number, and if your class is stronger here, you could clear quite a bit above it. One important final note is that you make more money here on seasonal servers. Time-filled stones are a pretty hefty increase in your overall silver per hour, so some players could average even higher silver numbers if they stay on seasonal and don't graduate just to grind here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I do plan on doing a guide for every grind zone in the game like this, so if you have any comments, please let me know down below. Also, let me know what you think about this grind spot, and I'll see you in the next video.